All right, everybody, let's take a look at how to complete the writing portion of the nonfiction part of the final exam for the spring semester. Let's just start with the obvious. Um, this is not let's stop calling it a TPACK writing, okay? So I understand, and I may have indulged in that, in that naming for a while there. But really, what we need to think about is the fact that this is a constructed response. It's an open-ended question. We're asking you to take a position and defend it, and we're going to use and you can use the TPACK model to create that answer. Now, if you have a better way or a way that you think works better for you, that's fine. You're welcome to use it. But remember, the TPACK hits all the essential elements that we should have in our answer, right? Clearly stated opinion, clear examples from the text, an explanation of how that example from the text validates, backs up, proves your claim, right? So, these are the elements that we need to see in your answer, and the TPACK is just a model to get you there. All right. So let's start by saying, hey, we're not doing a TPACK, we're doing a constructive response, and you can use the TPACK model in kind of creating that. Okay. So let's just start off with that. The next thing to think about then is, what are we going to be writing about? Okay. So you have an article here, the world's poor farmers need our help, by Bill Gates. Okay. And this is from 2015. It's about 6 years old now. I also find it interesting that the first line is Bill and Melinda Gates, but they're now divorcing. So maybe this is a little dated now. But read that article, okay? Read that article and get a sense of what is Bill Gates arguing, okay? Remember, we've talked about central idea, okay? That's the central argument. That's the one big thing that he is pushing for, right? Now, there might be some minor claims along the way, all right? But the central argument is the one big thing the whole article is basically pushing toward, okay? And then everything else in the article then is proof and justification and validation and backing up of that claim, right? Now, I have this pre-writing piece here for you. This is just to help you kind of organize your thoughts and your ideas. This is not part of the grade. You don't receive a grade for this. This isn't part of the end. If you use this, great. And if not, no big deal. But this is here to help you organize your thoughts and get your thoughts together in a way that really allow you to pull together your constructed response. So the first question is, what is the central argument? Okay, that's the thing that Gates is promoting. He is presenting as this is the thing that I want to see happen, right? Do you agree or disagree with him? Now, that doesn't matter whether you believe or not, okay? That's not the point of this, of whether or not you got the right answer. The point is, we're asking you to take that position, right? Because you're going to have to defend it. So I think that you need to start off by understanding, do you believe it or not? Now, in this box here, you can put yes or no. That's not a big deal. But when you write later on, you're going to have that complete sentence. I do agree with him. I don't agree with him. I disagree with this. Or, you'll have to write it out. But for the purposes of this pre-writing, just to get you started thinking about it, yes or no is fine. What was the strongest or weakest part of the claim? Now, here, there are many, many reasons why, right? He's going to present a lot of pieces of evidence and justifications and claims for that argument, right? There's going to be a lot of those, and that's fine. There is no this is the one that I have to see. It's what you feel is the strongest, because then in the next box, you're going to explain why you felt it was the strongest. So for you might see a piece of evidence differently than somebody else, just because you live on a farm, or you've never been onto a farm, or you believe in sustainable farming and sustainable food growth, or you believe in philanthropy, or whatever it might be. For you might see a piece of evidence differently than somebody else, and that's perfectly acceptable. But in that last box there, that's when you're going to explain why that one is important to you. And then the question, and it's just repeated, what argument is the author Bill Gates making in this 2015 opinion piece? Okay, and you type your answer right there. Now, again, you can use the TPACK model. It is there for you as a guide to pull all your pieces together. But if you have a better method, that's fine. But remember, there are very specific pieces that we are looking for. I did include this down here, an overview of the TPACK. So that topic sentence, right? This is where you use part of the question and a very clear, definitive answer. You cannot agree or disagree. You cannot say yes, but, okay? You take one or the other. Now, I know in the real world, there's always nuances. There's always shades of answers, right? I know that we can chart out these middle courses or these wandering paths, totally acceptable in the real world. But for the purposes of this assignment, you have to take a singular position. In evidence, that was right. That was on that chart there where you pulled the best piece of evidence, the best claim, right? That goes here. That's where you explain. In the article, he says this. In the article, he presents this piece of information, right? Now, if you're disagreeing with it, that's fine too. In the article, he says this, but, and then you explain why that's not a good piece, right? You can disagree. That is totally acceptable. And that goes into that paraphrasing, okay, about what does this mean to you? Okay, this is not the explanation of why it was or wasn't strong, but this is kind of your statement of what you think it means. I think this is kind of important because there's times when you will stake out a position and you'll say, because of this, and we're like, I don't get your position, but I see where you're coming from because you interpreted this information this way, right? And this allows you some cover. Okay, so let's say that you took a piece of information that in essence wouldn't back up your claim, but because of the way you understood it and your explaining of how you saw it, that allows other people to buy into that position a little bit better, right? Then the analysis, and this is where you explain why it was so good, why it wasn't so good, what it does or doesn't prove for you, and then the concluding sentence where you kind of wrap up your thoughts. I also included this chart down here that has the sentence starters. So if you were trying to do a paraphrase, if you're trying to do a conclusion, right, you have these kinds of signal words and sentence starters that you can use. All right. So in the end, remember, the main goal of this is to say, here's my position, here's how I defend it, and here's why I believe it is such a strong backing up of my answer. Okay. Make sure you're very clear with that. Your constructive response, the final draft of your constructive response, which you're going to write right there where it says type your answer here. All right. That's going to be multiple sentences. It's not going to be one sentence. You're not going to be able to do this in one sentence. Please make sure that you are very clear in your response. Good luck, everybody.